Hello and welcome to the special show on Revsportz. I'm Snehasis Mukherjee and I'm obviously joined by Trisha in front of the iconic Lord's Cricket Stadium. Yes, so Trisha obviously India-Australia, a big game in this World Cup and that too in an iconic place like Lord's. So, for me it's a very good day because it's the first time I have visited this stadium. But for Trisha, I think it's third or fourth time?
No, this is... See, if you count the number of days of the test match, then it will be 7th or 8th.
Visit.
No, visit, this is the third time. Yeah.
So she's quite used to it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Lords.
Yes, but for me it's another dream come true, just like the Manchester United.
Anytime you go to Lords, anytime you go to Sydney, anytime you go to Eden Gardens, I mean, these grounds are what makes...
Just witnessing the history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
There's something about the air around that ground.
Yes, absolutely. So there is no doubt about that. That is a big occasion for both the teams to play that kind of a match, a probable group decider, and probably a tournament decider, as I will say, for both the teams. Even Australia, if they lose, even that net run will come into play. But they are in a very good position because of the net run that they have.
Decider for us.
For us, yeah, definitely no doubt about that.
And for South Africa also.
Yes, and before our match, South Africa plays. So yeah, in the press conference, from South Africa camp, that was the message that we will keep an eye on India match. Before that, we have our job in our hands. We have to defeat Bangladesh, and we'll see what will happen in the India versus Australia game. But Trisha, Lords, India versus Australia, how excited and how nervous you are? I think more than excited, you are nervous.
Yeah, exactly. You will see poor jokes reeking right, left and center. That's when you will understand how nervous someone like me. I have always been that person, under pressure I will crack the worst of jokes possible. So yeah, I mean it's something that India has brought onto themselves, unfortunately. With the way South Africa lost against Australia, I did think that if India defeats South Africa, we are all but through. That did not happen, and we were continuously talking about it. Once that did not happen, that South Africa has relatively easier games. And now India does have a tough one in hand, and I think Boria has said this line 1,000 times in different shows, that do not leave it for Lords, do not leave it for the 28th. Clearly the Indian team did not listen to him, and I don't know about you, but I'm very, very anxious.
Yes, I am excited to experience that, the match day feeling.
Lords is exciting, and by the way, because we are going to cover the test match as well, we'll go to the museum. It's exciting. You have to stop me from buying books. Last time we were 6 kgs extra, thanks to Rohan and my. By the way, guys, inside the museum, they sell books, cricket books, and that too priceless ones. And that's only for £1, £2. It's really fascinating.
Top a book lover like you,
In fact, you should tell them I've already finished 3 books.
Oh yes, already in this tour she has finished 3 books, and obviously she's trying again so hard, make me reading those. But yes, I am still bad at it. Yes. Okay, let's moving on to the game. But Trisha, as you mentioned, it's a big occasion at Lords, India versus Australia. But I think you have already written in the article and the slope thing. The slope at Lords is a big thing, and always it's in the debate before any particular game. So can you just talk about that thing? The importance of that slope and how difficult it will be for some of the new players for India, because they have not experienced it, right? So how difficult for someone like will be if Prema Rawat plays, for someone like Prema Rawat, if she plays, okay, and for someone like Nandini Sharma, it is most likely that she will play definitely. So how difficult it will be for the players?
Yes, I think the slope is something that, that's why I took out the entire notes that I have taken on the slope, because it is not easy to understand the whole equation. In fact, I remember when we came for the Lord's test match between the India and England men, Steve Harmison had come after, finishing his commentary stint, and it was Shubhayan and I myself was standing there, and we had a long chat about the slope, trying to understand how it affects. And this is what... there is a slope of around 2.5 meters, but the interesting part is it runs diagonally across the ground. I mean, it's so unique, weird, whatever you like to call it, and that's why it kind of affects all the aspects, because when you have a diagonal slope, try and understand that we were talking about the same thing right now before placing the camera. That why did we place it here? Because there's a slope just behind. What happens? It impacts your visuals, and if you are impacted visually because of the slope, then think of this as a bowler, as a batter, as a fielder. All three aspects suddenly becomes very different. And then now if you look at the for the bowlers, from the pavilion end, deliveries will naturally drift and seam downhill. It will be moving away from the right-handed batters after pitching. From the nursery end, which is the opposite end, of course, the bowlers operate uphill. So using the incline to create different angles, they can, which I thought Jofra Archer did it very well against India in that match.
Test match.
Yes, in that test match. And this is the kind of wickets where pace bowlers will enjoy.
Yes.
That is a problem. Where is our pace bowler?
Renuka might.
We have a medium pacer. We do not have pace. Our pace bowler was Kranti.
Yes.
Are you going to bring her back for the Australia game? Is a good question. Now from here, I'll go to batters. Batters face completely. It is going to be very difficult as batters. Because the first and foremost problem is, because it's a diagonal slope, maintaining balance in your stance becomes difficult. Because the slope will subtly, pull the body off your natural alignment. So footwork has to be precise. For example, someone like Jemmy has to stop moving that much. Because the slope is in a way where if she moves, her entire alignment goes missing anyway. But she, because of the slope, she won't be able to determine where to stop that movement. And maybe when she's facing the ball, she's still moving with the pressure, unfortunately, on one of the legs more than the weight. And then you can fall over, you can miss the shot. There are a lot of complications there. Having said that, it will be interesting if you get set as a batter, then you have understood the angles of the field. That is an advantage. And here, running between the wicket will become important, because once you have found out the angles, the gaps, you place there and take runs. Now, if you're talking about angles, you have to talk about fielding as well, right? So even the fielding side has to constantly adapt. Judging catches, chasing the ball uphill or downhill, and maintaining ideal fielding position. So India now has to do A+. They have been C- at best last game. They have to now go A+ with it. Because Radha said it was difficult because of the sun. Here the sun and slope both will be there. The other part, I think a lot of people forget saying it's so difficult for the wicket keepers.
Yes.
Because one is bowler is coming uphill and bowling to you. The other one, it's going downhill. The pace changes. The seam movement changes. It is not going to be easy, India has to face Australia. They have to face the conditions. I'm not saying that Australia doesn't have to face the conditions, but honestly, they are less in a position where they will be under pressure and we will be under pressure much, much more.
Yes, and regarding the slope, Kyla Reneke, the South African player, during her practice session, shared an Instagram story, and she clicked a picture and mentioned the slope is a real thing.
Yes, I think, there's one thing that you talk about the slope, and the other thing knowing that, yes, that slope, as they said, is a real thing, and it's actually very difficult. In fact, Rohan and I had just walked one day, and we were like, we want to see what's the slope all about. We walked, we couldn't see the other side. Because of the slope, we were like, what just happened? And that is how the players are playing. It's not easy. One of the reasons why when Mohammad Siraj, and everybody remembers this, you can't tell me you don't, he batted it and then the ball slowly rolled down and hit the wicket. That ball had no business going to the wicket, and that's why, at that moment Siraj was so focused, he did not realize about the slope. The second you forget about the slope, that is what happens to you. So there are a lot of things to be mindful of in a very, very serious context, which is the reason I think the three of us, especially Boria, has been saying over and over again, don't leave it for Lords. The other thing, Indian team is saying that we have been there, done it. You did it 5 matches at a stretch in DY Patil. Here, that is not going to happen. That is another part that India has to adapt to the conditions very, very quickly. And Manchester and Lords are heaven and hell difference.
Yes. And this is the ground that where you are going to play in this tournament for the first time.
Yeah.
And for the first time, India are going to play a T20 at Lords. So this is going to be their first T20 ever for
Didn't
India.
they play last series?
Only ODI.
ODI, and they messed up big time,
they
the
lost.
ODIs, yeah.
Yes. It was a rain cattle ODI match, I think
Yeah,
29
but we
overs.
were some 97 or something for 5. Yeah.
But this is going to be their first, and Australia have also played only one T20. They lost that against England, so has not been that much. but still, in terms of current form.
You know what? My only thing is Australia is out for India's blood, and they will be. Why not? The kind of team that they are, and the kind of performance they have been doing. Sophie Molyneux injury prone. Yeah. I mean, Sophie Molyneux injury prone, and we have said this over and over again. How can somebody as injury prone be a captain? But let's not take anything away from her captaincy. You know, during this tournament, her captaincy has been on point. How well they can do against India? What happens? Do they spoil our Lord's experience, or do it? Does India pull off a miracle? Let's hope it's the second one. But as of now, do keep watching Revsportz, and we'll be back in a few hours with the live building up to the game. Thank you so much. Have a good day and pray for India.